So here we are at Cookout in Gloucester, and I am drinking cheer wine. And for those of you who have not traveled far enough south of the Mason-Dixon line, I believe it's safe to say you have not lived until you have tried this. Born in the South, raised in a glass, and consumed from a styrofoam cup. That's pretty good. One thing interesting about this cookout that we found over here, if you look over here, not to mention if you notice the sign up there, this is 40+ milkshakes. I mean, that's pretty paranormal in itself. But if you go down a little lower, they got a hand washing station. Hand washing station, I should say. And I gotta say, I love this because you don't have to go to the bathroom to wash your hands. After being so many times, you know, before you eat, you want to go wash your hands, but you don't want to go to the bathroom to do it because sometimes you come out with your hands being dirtier than they were before you went in the bathroom. So here at this cookout, you can wash your hands right here after ordering your food. That is awesome.
So one of the good things about this cookout is that they have outdoor tables, which is sort of a thing of the past. They don't have a lot of outdoor tables nowadays at restaurants. They have 4 tables sitting out here, and it's a really nice night for it. You can sit here and watch the cars go past. And one thing I'm very impressed with is that these chairs are some of those kind of rocking chairs a little bit. They have that little bit of bounce to them.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I can do that too, but it's going to get the folks at home pretty sick, I think.
Right. Yeah, you don't want to do that. But yeah, after you've eaten your food and you're sitting here trying to recover because it's so much food, you can sit here and kind of rock back and forth and just enjoy the environment.
That's awesome. Now, did you get anything new, or did you stick to the usual?
I stuck to the usual. I am the type of person that if you like something, you know, why get something different?
We need to put that on a t-shirt.
I like the Hush Puppies. The Hush Puppies are really good. See, they're the kind of elongated Hush Puppies as opposed to the round ones.
Oh, yeah.
They gave me some fries.
Hush Puppies.
Yes, and the burger is out west style, I believe it's called. But one thing I do notice today is that there's not as much food as there usually is. Normally, there's quite a few more Hush Puppies, and there's quite a bit more of the French fries. So, who knows? Maybe they're just trying to save on food costs or something, but, you know, it's still a good meal.
So, yes, I have to say that literally we're eating out. Not only are we eating out, we're eating outside, which is pretty cool because we're eating at a cookout and then we're eating outside. So it's kind of like, almost like a real cookout, but the grill's in the store, so it's a little different. But if I can pan over here, I'm doing it on selfie mode, but if you can check out behind me here, we have a 7-Eleven. Now, how cool is this? Because I feel that this 7-Eleven kind of makes this not just a regular paranormal pit stop, but an ultimate paranormal pit stop. Not only is it on the way for us to Old House Woods and several other haunted places that may lie deep in the heart of Gloucester, but you can get gas, you can get coffee, you can come over here and get Cookout. And Cookout is open late. 7-Eleven, of course, is open all night. So we got everything you need right here. What more can you ask for? Now, I too like to stick with stuff I like, and there's no need for me to review this because I've done it before. It is the Cookout style burger, bacon, cheese. It's got chili on there, coleslaw, onions, and I've always liked this. But though the portions have changed, let's see if the flavor remains. Oh.
So we finished up and everything was really good, except for Jeff's corn dog, which was a little questionable. I don't know, it had this like crack running lengthwise, and it looked like maybe it was very overcooked. But other than that, everything tasted really good. So I guess we're gonna cut out of here and get down the road a little ways and see if we can maybe stop later on for some coffee somewhere.
I do have to say that corn dog was quite awful. Everything else was really good. The portions have seemed to dwindle down a bit. There wasn't nearly as many fries as there used to be, at least the last time we were here, not even a couple months ago. But the corn dog was like, it was deep fried and then cooled off and then deep fried again in old oil. That's what it kind of tasted like, and it's pretty bad. But I'm sure that was just a one-time deal because I've had corn dogs here several times before and they've been good. So I still continue to eat it nonetheless. And one thing I gotta say I didn't understand is a corn dog is 99 cents and a hot dog is 99 cents. But when I got the cookout tray, I was able to get a corn dog with it, but I couldn't get a hot dog with it. So I didn't really understand that, but it is what it is. So we're gonna head out of here and move on down the road. Here we are in the chip aisle at 7-Eleven, yet it seems to be lacking a certain brand of chip.
It is. It's lacking the Hers brand, which kind of disappointed about. I've been looking all over the area for these Hers ketchup flavored potato chips.
Oh, yes.
And I mean, I've checked the grocery stores, I've checked everywhere, and I can't find them. So.
No Hers.
Nope.
Oh man, this can't be. Let's venture around here a little bit and see if we can find some Hers potato chips. Maybe they're on an end cap or something. Ooh, cowboy hats. So definitely no Hers to be found. So we will not be able to make Hers yours or ours. So our first stop in tonight's adventure has brought us to the 7-Eleven up here in Cobbs Creek without a paddle. And we decided to stop in here and get some 7-Eleven coffee. We also looked around for some Hers potato chips, particularly the ketchup flavored potato chips, which if you haven't tried, you need to try. But they didn't have them. I guess we're a little too far out, south.
South.
Not sure. Maybe once you get a little farther down, the farther you get from Pennsylvania, the more obscure Hers becomes. But I'm going to turn you over to Linda, and she's going to tell you about what she happened to find, which maybe not comparable to Hers, but good nonetheless.
What we have here is one of the varieties of 7-Eleven potato chips. And 7-Eleven has started their own line of potato chips, and they've got some really interesting flavors like prime rib, spicy guacamole. They're kind of a tortilla style. These are the buffalo chicken dip flavored chips. And they're amazing. They're actually really, really good. You can see they're kind of like Ruffles. They've got the little ridges in there. But they have this sort of a vinegary flavor to them. It's just a nice little kick. And
yes, love the vinegary flavor.
Yeah, so and we don't see these too often. Not all of the 7-Elevens carry them. So we figured that when we saw them, we got to buy them. So here they are, ladies and gentlemen. Buffalo chicken dip chips.
So once again, we're going to get back on the road and find the next paranormal pit stops. So this point in tonight's journey has brought us out to Old House Woods. And we're turning down here onto Haven Beach Road, or we've been on Haven Beach Road. Shout out to the people who live at the stop sign there. They're following us on Instagram. At least one of the people that lives in that house is, so there's a shout out. Nonetheless, we're going down here down Haven Beach Road, and this is the first time we've returned to Old House Woods since we've heard news that the one of the old houses that stands down there along the road, anyone who's been down there, who's seen our pictures, would remember this old house. It's not the house that Old House Woods is named after, but it's an old house nonetheless that used to stand there, and it's been torn down. So I imagine the scene will be a little bit different since that house is gone. And I wonder if the feel will be any different, or will it be the same? But we're going to go down there tonight and we're going to find out. And here's the dirt road that goes down to the beach. Very bumpy road. Water's pretty high on either side of it. And right here along the side of the road is where the old house stood. And you used to be able to see that old house coming up from, coming down this way. And now it's just a vacant field. And here we are looking out into the marsh, and I apologize for the video, as I said before. You can't see much, it's very dark out here. But I just wanted to give you an idea of the noises that you hear. And let's listen for a second. It's just alive with wildlife. So many, and you see all the bugs flying in front of us. And you know what we're gonna do? If you would grab the camera for us, please. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take some pictures here so we can show you. We'll post this on our Instagram at Virginia Paranormal and probably on our Facebook. We'll show you what bug orbs look like. And as you can see, there's just a lot of bugs here. Linda's gonna go ahead and take a picture. We're gonna need it with the flash on.
The flash
and maybe I need to kill this flashlight because the flashlight's probably triggering the flash to not go off.
Okay, now we're starting to get orbs.
And like I said, this is just to give you an idea. As you can see clearly, as I was filming out the window, there's bugs all over the place. Gnats, mosquitoes, and it's the marsh, so there's gonna be. But we want to show you what they look like on the picture as orbs.
A lot of these are very far away. You see a couple little speckles here of light. There's one there.
Right. So, and you can see, you can see the contrails around it, kind of, or the contrails, I mean, where the wings are fluttering.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's clearly not an orb as some, and there's one getting in front of the camera. That might be one that people have taken pictures and described them as elementals or little fairies.
Right.
But they're not little fairies, they're bugs. There's nothing paranormal or supernatural about them, but at the same time, you can see where that orb looks like a little dot there, but when we zoom in on it, you can clearly see it's a bug. So that discounts a lot of the orbs we catch as being bugs.
Right. That's exactly right. And like Jeff said, if you zoom in far enough on these things, a lot of ones you can actually tell are bugs. You can see the wings on them. Some other ones that are very small that the light is reflecting off of, you might not be able to see the wings per se, but these are definitely little bright white pinpoints of light. It is not necessarily an orb. It doesn't have that circular form to it, and they are certainly not appearing to glow or have that light emitting from them like other types of orbs. So wish we had some rain out here. We could actually show you some what it would look like if you took pictures in the rain, but maybe we'll have to save that for a little later on.
Ooh, a cliffhanger.
Yes.
I like it.
Yes.
Another reason that I wanted you to hear the wildlife out here in the marsh is for a story that I have relayed before, or told before, I believe on our Paranormal Pub Table episode, and maybe a couple interviews you've heard me talk about it. But you hear how alive it is with the sounds of nature, with the wildlife that's out here. And there was a time that I came up here with another investigator, and he and I were walking down this very road. We parked back a little ways where the old house used to stand, and we were walking down this very road, and this was around the same time he saw something up in the trees. He saw something jump from one tree to another, something big, way up in the treetops. And all that wildlife that you hear right now got dead silent. It just stopped immediately, all of it. And it was coming in stereo like it is now from both sides of the road, crickets and frogs and everything else, and they just stopped. And we kind of thought that was a little weird, you know, because could that have been a sign that maybe something was there? I don't know, but we couldn't really explain it. Well, we parked down here at the end of the road, and it's very dark. But surprisingly, the lot is full with a lot of people. There's quite a few vehicles here, people standing outside of their vehicles. They're being pretty quiet, which is cool. It would almost be pointless to do an EVP section, just because you never know if you're going to pick up a voice from one of these people, or if you're going to pick up, I mean, with all the wildlife, it'll kind of be hard to differentiate between a noise that's not coming from out there in the marsh of a natural source and something that may be paranormal. Okay, so we're out here by the beach area, and Linda's using this app to look up at the sky, and suddenly this turned into an episode of Watching the Skies with VAPI. Well, nonetheless, there's a red star up in the sky. I would say it has a reddish tint to it, and she's using this app here. Tell us what that does, Linda.
Basically, this takes your location, and it shows you, if you lift the phone up into the sky, it shows you exactly what the constellations are, and it shows you if there's any particular planets in the sky at this time. This really kind of reddish glowing star is actually a planet out there, and I believe my theory was right. It is Mars.
Wow.
Yep.
I don't think I've ever seen Mars from here before.
Yep. Mars will always have that reddish glow to it.
All right, so while we're here out and about, I decided to break out the EMF detector. I'm just going to do a little sweep around the area here, and let's just see if we get any spikes. I do believe this is the area where they've seen headless dogs. People have seen ghost pirates, British soldiers, all kinds of stuff coming up from the marsh, coming up from the beach. I know the ghost ship that's been seen out here is primarily over by the mouth of White's Creek. White's Creek?
White's Creek.
White's Creek, I'm sorry. I have it confused with the White House, I guess. But White's Creek is where they typically see the ghost ship. So definitely a lot of activity in this area, but so far all is quiet with the EMF readings. But I'm going to continue to do a little sweep around here and see if we pick anything up. Critter.
Okay, so we have our digital voice recorder here, and we are going to try for an EVP session. Like Jeff said, there's a lot of background noise with the frogs and the wildlife in the area, and there are a few people that are further down on the beach. So far, we haven't been able to hear their voices, but you know, that could pop up as possible sound that we get. But we're going to try it anyways, just to see what we might get. All right, so we'd like to know if there's anyone out here with us. If there is, we just want to communicate with you. We don't want to cause you any harm or disturb you in any way. We have this black box here, and if you could please speak into the box, we may be able to hear your voice. If there is someone here, can you tell us your name?
How many are here with us?
How did you arrive here? Was it on a ship?
What year is it?
Where are you originally from? Where's your hometown?
Are you looking for something?
Why have you remained here?
Is there something in these woods that you're protecting?
We've heard there may be a treasure down here. Whose treasure is it?
people have seen a ship out here. Can you tell us who that ship belongs to? Did you hear something?
No.
You looked like you heard something.
No, I noticed your reaction. I could tell you heard something, that's why I looked at you.
You think I heard something?
Yeah, the way you looked at me.
I see, we can't see it here with the video, but I mean, there's the marsh over here, and there's, I don't know, I'm sure it's just wildlife.
Could be.
But then I thought I heard a dog.
Really?
You heard that, right?
I did hear that. I don't know what that was, but...
I'm not sure either. I think I'm going to get back in the truck, though, at this point. Just, you know...
Just to be safe?
Just to be safe. In case, you know, dogs, wild dogs or something like that.
I would feel better if I had at least a flashlight, you know?
Yeah.
Because lacking a flashlight with this bright light in
yeah,
your
actually,
face
what I'm
right
going to do
now-
is just grab the flashlight.
Yeah, good idea.
Okay, so we stopped adjacent to where the house used to be, and there's nothing left but a pile of rubble. If you can see that out there, it's just a big empty lot, and this is where that old house used to stand. I'm not sure why they tore it down. It was very old. We left Old House Woods, and on the way out of Old House Woods, out of Matthews, or was it Diggs, we saw a sign for Gwynn's Island, and we decided to come over here and check it out because Gwynn's Island has its own urban legend. Some have seen a ghost plane, a World War II era plane. I believe it was like a fighter plane. Like a World War II fighter plane. I'm not 100% sure on that, or it might have been a bomber. I'm gonna have to, I'm not too clear on the details. I just remember hearing the story, and when I saw the Gwynn's Island sign, I said, hey, you know, let's go over there and do a little stakeout and see if we can see any kind of paranormal plane flying by. So we're gonna find a good place to set up if we can. I've never been here before, so I don't know what the terrain, if you will, is like, but we're gonna see what we can find. Okay, so we pulled into this parking lot at a place called Sea Breeze over here in Gwynn's Island, and it sits right here on the water, as you saw from the video. And we've been all over this island, and so many of the roads are very short. They end abruptly. They come to, you know, dead ends, and we really couldn't find any place where there was like a public beach access or a public parking lot, and this seems to be the only public parking lot we can find. So we decided to get out here for a while, and we're going to observe. I guess our best view is going to be over here at the water. Over here behind me is where the drawbridge is that we came across and such, and as you can see the water in the background. And we're going to keep an eye out over this way to see if we can catch a glimpse of the supposed World War II ghost plane that is supposed to haunt the skies over Gwynn's Island. So we left Sea Breeze and Gwynn's Island. We stayed there for a little bit of time, not nearly long enough probably to catch a glimpse of the ghost plane. We would have liked to have stayed longer, but the night is calling us, beckoning to us, if you will, to venture into it and proceed on to our next paranormal pit stop. Because after all, though we are doing some ghost hunting and such in between, this video is ultimately about paranormal pit stops. And I think we're actually, you know, we're headed towards 17 once again. And when we come out on 17, if our calculations are correct, we're only going to be approximately 30 minutes from a Sheetz. And I have to say that Sheetz is by far one of our favorite places to stop while we're out ghost hunting. And anytime we take a trip out of town, if there's none around us down there in Yorktown and Pocosin, but anytime we head out west a little bit, we always like to hit up a Sheetz. So I think that's calling us.
All right, so we're on our way to Sheetz, but there's always this dilemma that we have, and we never know whether we should get some food or get some coffee, because both of them are just absolutely superb at the Sheetz. Now, my take on it is that we don't get a Sheetz very often, and it's hard to pass up the food in lieu of coffee. So we may have to just get both, I'm thinking.
Yeah, that sounds good. I mean, like we said earlier, it's kind of at that point in the night where it's halfway through.
Right.
You know, and if you get food now, you're not going to be hungry later, but will later be too late for coffee. And then again, Sheetz has such amazing food.
They do.
So how can we pass it up?
Yeah.
So I think both is the answer.
I think it is. We'll just have to get both and eat the food really quick and then drink the coffee afterward.
And here we are. We have arrived at the Sheetz in Tappahannock. So once again, here we are in Sheetz. And the search for hers continues.
It does. No hers here. We thought because it's a northern company, because there's so many of them in Pennsylvania, maybe we would find some, but not a single hers here. So, I don't know. I think I'm going to have to get them shipped to me.
The question comes, what are we going to get?
Food.
Food and coffee.
Yeah.
All right, so we made it out of the Sheetz with some popcorn chicken. I got the buffalo popcorn chicken.
I got the Parmesan garlic.
And we got the sampler platter with the Wisconsin cheese bites and
jalapeno poppers.
Jalapeno poppers and fried pickles.
Yes.
We're gonna eat in the car because this Sheetz, unfortunately, they don't have a restaurant inside like some Sheetz do. Nor do they have any tables outside from what I can see. But I didn't really want to venture around the other side at this time of night. At this particular Sheetz. Yeah,
it's not exactly the place where you would want to sit out and eat. Let's just say that it was kind of shady in there. Shady enough to where they had to have their own security guards standing in there all night. So,
right.
You know, evidently they've had some problems here before, else they wouldn't have a security guard. But yeah. Yeah,
because like 7-Eleven doesn't have security guards, or
right.
Wawa.
Right.
You know, so if they got a security guard, it's probably somewhere we don't want to be sitting in at night. Right. So this is what the appetizer sampler platter looks like. And we have had this before, and I must say it's amazing. Looks like a fry got in there, and I'm going to eat that. Oh. And once again, the Parmesan
garlic tossed popcorn chicken. This actually is like the shredded Parmesan cheese. You know, it's not like the dry, crumbly stuff that you put on your
man, look at that
spaghetti. So,
wow.
The only problem is we don't have any plasticware, so I'm not exactly sure how we're going to eat this. Especially you, because you have the buffalo tossed popcorn chicken, and that's going to be a hell of a mess.
Yeah, so, I really don't want to venture back in there.
I know, but one of us may have to, unless you want to just kind of tip up the cup and, you know, open your mouth and let it pour in.
I'll just lick my fingers when I'm done.
Yeah. Right.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Sheetz in Tappahannock. I don't think I'm going back in for the plasticware. Because I found a fork in the glove box.
Nice.
Yeah. So there's no need to go back in for the plasticware. That's why I'm not going back in. Right. So I'm thinking maybe we should get the coffee at 7-Eleven.
Definitely.
Yeah, just because, you know, this is a lot of fried food, and fried food doesn't seem to mix well with coffee to me. So right. I think if we just maybe give this stuff a little time to settle.
Right.
You know, drink the soda and such. We'll be better off. So here we are driving down 17, and you probably can't see it as well as we can, but that yellow bright yellow thing that just disappeared there behind the trees was the moon. And it's looking pretty amazing right now, the way it's hanging in the sky. Really low, it looks huge. It's kind of changing colors as it raises a little bit. It was orange when it was real low, when it was just coming above the horizon, and then it started turning to yellow, and it's getting higher above us as we drive on into the night to our next destination. So we made it out of Tappahannock, and we're over here at a 7-Eleven. I'm not sure exactly where we are. 3 miles from Saluda, but nonetheless a 7-Eleven, and we got some coffee. I just wanted to touch base a little bit on Old House Woods. As we left there, we drove by where the one old house used to stand on the side of the road there, and I gotta say, it was definitely empty not seeing that house there. And I remember years ago, before, you know, VAPI was what we are today, and we were far less, I guess I should say, professional. And we went up there, and the first time I drove down that road and saw that house just sitting there, oh man, that creeped me out. It was a creepy sight, a dirt road, you know, trees and marsh grass, and it seemed like we were in the middle of nowhere. You're not really in the middle of nowhere, but you're out there. And just driving down and seeing that creepy old house there. And you know, from then on, every time we rounded that bend and saw that old house, we knew we were on Haven Beach Road in the heart of Old House Woods. And it's sad to see it gone. It's sad to think that it's been there for, you know, maybe 200 years, I think, from what Linda found on her research. And all that house has seen, it was a different world when that house was built. And it's been through a lot. You know, it'd be neat to find out what went on between its walls, and some of the families that lived there and their experiences and such. But it's gone like it never existed, and it's sad to see. But what are your thoughts on Old House Woods, maybe Gwynn's Island, whichever you'd like to share?
Well, I have to say Gwynn's Island is a beautiful little community, very small island. We were really kind of surprised. We turned down what looked like a main road, and encounter a sign that said, you know, road ends in 0.2 miles. So, you know, the lack of parking areas and beach access, I mean, there was not a 7-Eleven on the whole island. There really wasn't any grocery store on the whole island, which was kind of strange. But yeah, beautiful little community. It would be nice to ride around there during the day, but be even nicer if we could dig up some more ghost stories or some sort of urban legends about it, and get a place where we could park out there and, you know, continue to look for this ghost plane and see what we can find.
So here we are driving through colonial Yorktown, and it's a perfect night for this because there's a light fog, as you can see by the light of that street lamp. And it's this kind of weather, or this kind of atmosphere, I should say, where people often see spirits. They often see apparitions on the battlefields, stuff coming out of the fog. So we're going to drive by some of the battlefields and just see if we see anything. And we're going to roll by some of the battlefields here and just take some pictures with the flash.
Okay.
And see if anything comes up in the fog. It's interesting because the camera's taking some pretty clear pictures, isn't it?
Yes, it is. The flash doesn't reach very far.
But this is the location where people often hear the sounds of cannons, or they'll hear some voices.
Yeah, like I say, it's not reaching very far, but I think we did catch a little orb in one. Could have just been a bug.
So we didn't pick up any activity, at least not noticeable, at the battlefields. And we decided what better way to top off the night than to drive down Crawford Road. We drive down this road several times, and always hopes of seeing something or picking up some evidence. There's so many stories associated with it, particularly it's late, around the bridge, the overpass, which is Battlefield Tour Road, where people see a woman standing on the top of the bridge and jumping from it. And we're going to take a drive through there and see if we have any luck tonight. And here it is, the overpass, Battlefield Tour Road.
So we went down Crawford Road. It was actually kind of a busy night. There was a couple of cars that went down the road, and looked like one of them might have been parked underneath the overpass. So we didn't really get to stop like we might have done on some other nights and just roll down the windows for a few. But it's always a creepy road, and I noticed that it's far less creepy now that they have repaved the road.
Yes.
And it's strange how just the condition of a road can lend to the creepiness of a location. So
that's right.
But it was freshly marked with some new skid marks where people come down the road and peel out.
Maybe they're scared.
Could be.
Scares them.
Well, that's what all the locals say, but it's actually just kids coming down here, and it's a nice long desolate road where you can stop and peel out, see how fast you can go and that sort of thing. So
yeah, I remember one night we came down there and there was this car that was off in the woods. He was all right. He was standing outside his car, teenager, but he must have tried the peeling out thing, and I guess it didn't work too well for him because the road does have some curves to it. But I have to agree with Linda, it's definitely changed since they paved it. I guess it goes from being an old rickety old road, to a nice new paved road. It kind of takes away from the haunted ambience, if you will. And it's another thing that's changed. Like I said, when we first started going down there years ago, it was a bumpy old broken up road, and it just added to the eerie atmosphere of it. But needless to say, I think that marks our final haunted destination for tonight. We got to go to Crawford Road, Old House Woods, Gwynn's Island. Quite an eventful night for haunted places and paranormal pit stops. And I think we're going to make one more pit stop at our third 7-Eleven for the night, but this time it's for Tums. Well, thanks for tuning in for this episode of Paranormal Pit Stops. Until next time, I'm Jeff.
And I'm Linda.
We'll see you on the road.